I ran a marathon, mate.
Do you want to tell us about it? I can tell you're itching to.
No, fuck you.
A woman came to speak to me and told me that she came across you doing the run. She told me that like loads, like something like 40 or 50 people had to get medical assistance.
At least every mile there were a couple of bodies just laid out. Somebody held a sign up saying after mile 17, don't trust a fart. I think about 10 miles in, my gut just dropped. And all I could think of when you say, when you're at a restaurant and you've eaten too much, something happens.
You kind of feel something in your gut.
Yeah, and I never felt it before, and I was like, I'm going to shit myself.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Josh.
We're back. It's a Breaking Bread podcast, forcing entry to your ear holes like a disorientated Bill Cosby. How you doing, mate? Can I say that?
He's like,
I've said it.
He don't care, does he?
I don't care. How you doing, marathon man? Come on, I can tell that you itching to tell us about your marathon. It's been a good week for you, hasn't it?
I mean, I'm feeling absolutely fine now. The day is Wednesday, so that's 3 days removed from said marathon, and I'm surprised how good I feel. I did refrain actually from talking about it as much as possible leading up to it, because it is annoying when people are doing or have done a marathon, because that's all I talk about. It's a bit like vegans. Do you know what I mean?
It's like that's all I talk about.
In fact, you know what I saw on the run? I saw some runners that on the back of the shirt said vegan runners. That was like their running club, vegan runners.
And they just had to tell people. They wouldn't be able to talk in the middle of the run. They had to tell people in text on the back of their shirt.
Yeah, so but then afterwards, what do you talk about first? When you meet somebody new, that you're vegan or that you've run a marathon?
They just combust because they don't know what to talk about first.
Yeah. Imagine if they do CrossFit as well. That's like you've just ticked all the boxes.
Yeah, man. Flat earthers as well. Could be flat earthers. Are we doing small talk, or do I ask you about the marathon straight away?
I don't know. What do you reckon, George? I reckon we've got to do the YouTube comments first, haven't we? That's how it all... Are you all right, though, mate? I just want to check.
I'm a bit knackered, mate, but I'm trying.
Yeah?
I'm trying, yeah. I might need another one of those coffees. So if halfway through there's some dodgy edit and this replenishes, it's because I just...
George, play the YouTube comment jingle, because I've got one to read before you start, which is actually on that topic.
It's time for a YouTube comment from you.
So this is the latest YouTube comment that's just come in from Pickle Hamburger Without Cheese. That was definitely more than coffee in that cup. That's from the Agony Aunt episode. So I don't know.
It was Breaking Beans super strong coffee, wasn't it, on that version?
You know what's funny about the Breaking Beans? This is still available.
Everything is funny about it.
This is still available to buy. Yet we sell one bag a month, right? Do you know how much it costs to run a Shopify site? About £30.
Does it?
Yeah. Do you know how much we make from a bag of this?
About 20p?
I think about £2. So every month we're in the hole by about 90%. So if you fancy a bag of Breaking Beans...
Convenient tax deduction though.
Fucking you need them, not me. Anyway, George, we've got any more YouTube comments?
I've got a comment from James Blessed. To go from bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to abjectly pissed off over the space of an hour is impressive, Adam. Keep up the great work, lads.
I knew that was about me. I could just tell. I'm not always kind of bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when I come in, but usually by the end, yeah, I'm. But then it's been a long time usually since I've eaten as well, so not that I say it all the time. It's no excuse, but it's that or the fucking festival at the end. Oh, I swore again.
Next comment.
Got a comment from Krav Kerno. Great video, but slightly disappointed you didn't eat that microphone or something. And then someone commented saying, I want to see him eat his beard.
Those are clearly people that have come over
from your channel,
from the YouTube channel. Maybe they're one of the few people that saw oh look, there's a video to the podcast. So I'll go watch it.
We were looking through the clips channel this morning, and one of the clips that were getting comments recently from 7 months ago was when you farted a bunch on this podcast, but there were quite a funny fart that happened where I refused to cut it out of the podcast and I sat back holding the microphone. It's only like a 3-minute clip. It's had 17,000 views and people are still commenting on it. So all the people want to know is what is your bowel movements?
People are watching fucking anything these days, aren't they? Yeah. People that's one of the red flags if I ever get a message. So it's like, dude, what are your shits like? I'm like, block. What do you want me to give you a detailed description? You should frequent. That's as much I can say about
it. Yeah, when we were in London. We were in London last week. That's not really a spoiler, but we went and filmed a video. And you texted us in the morning saying, I said, we need to go get some breakfast, me and Josh, because we're filming. And you were like, grab us a black coffee. I need a shit. I'll be down in 25 minutes. And I'm thinking, why does a shit take 25 minutes?
It's a long one. Sometimes they're tough, man. Sometimes you get those. You ever get those ones where they make you sweat a little bit from the effort?
Have you ever, after spicy food, I actually start sweating. Like,
Yeah, but they're not. They're easier, aren't they? Because like I don't want to get into the graphic detail, but if you eat spicy food, it normally makes the
yeah, but it's like a roller coaster because it's painful, isn't it?
yeah,
Like it's spicy coming out.
Cramps and whatnot. Yeah, I've been there a few times.
Any more shit talk? Is that any more comments?
That's it for the YouTube comments this week.
Thanks for the comment.
That's it. I got an email this morning. I sent it down in the chat from somebody that said the title of the email was "Give her a baby already," and then in the actual body of the email it just said douchebag.
I didn't read that. I only read douchebag. I didn't really like read
The title of the email was like "Give her a." I mean, douchebag.
Whoa, fucking hell.
If somebody sent me an email saying douchebag, I'd just be like, yeah, statement of fact. You can't argue with that, can you? But then it was like, give her a baby already, dude. But it was from a guy, I think. Not that I'm saying. Typically, I would say it's not on dodgy ground. I would say women are more interested in procreation than men,
right?
As a general rule, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of expect that sometimes women say like, oh, the message Lynn saying, oh, when you having a baby, but yeah, it was I just find it really odd, man. Like that anyone would care about somebody else having a baby.
People are well invested in for some reason, but they're not really invested. They're just nosy bastards, aren't they? They're the reality.
Pokey a bit.
Yeah, like oh yeah, they should have a baby. It looked nice for that. For like if you put an Instagram post up holding like a baby picture.
If I had a baby, it wouldn't be on Instagram.
Yeah, fucking right, damn right.
I mean, it'd be pointless because Linda put it up all over hers. But like,
do you think she would?
Oh yeah. Sure. Have you seen like she's turning one of those people now that just posts every single fucking facet of their life?
Lindsay
going for a walk today.
Lindsay Wicks, she's like Joe Wicks.
Yeah. Just cooking my lunch. Yeah, cool story, mate. But if it makes you enthusiastic about stuff, then who might complain?
Yeah, but I mean, like back to the baby talk, mate. I genuinely, I'd be shocked if you're like actually shooting some live ones nowadays. You're 37 years old. You've already claimed to be a Jaffa. I think
so might be a Jaffa in jest. I hit the spot first time, mate. I think that's my goal. Like, I feel like if we try for a baby, like I find that a weird expression as well. Try for a baby, but if we started doing that, I'd want to kind of like do it once and then see if rather than do it like a number of times, because I guess when you're trying to get pregnant, you just have sex like all the time. Oh, that's the idea at certain points of the month.
Yeah. There's
right?
like a cycle, isn't there?
Yeah, but I would want to just do it once and then just wait and then see if I was like I had 100% shot accuracy. Because that'd be impressive in itself. That's
so funny. Because like believe it, I do obviously as a man growing up in this world and not paying attention to anything, I just assumed that if you had unprotected sex, you're going to get pregnant. But it turns out it's got to be like the stars have got to align.
How long did it take you?
It's a 12-hour window once every 90 days, and there's got to be like it
can't be that hard.
No, it's apparently it's like a small window once a month where like they're through like in their ovulation cycle. So unless you're 16, you can
maybe I could
get fingered and get pregnant. But as you get older, I think it gets harder.
Man, this thing. What? I tell you.
All right, do you enjoy the conversation?
I don't know what I was going to say.
Stay out this one?
What are you saying about when people say that they're trying? Like, don't you find it so weird when people tell like the family, like, "Oh, we're trying for a baby"?
That's weird.
Basically, just means we're having sex all the time.
Spaffing one in there.
What the fuck is it with you, man? Come on.
What did you ask me before?
I don't know what the fuck I asked you, mate.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like you try. I think people say that they're trying to try and remove the pressure of it.
I think it adds more pressure though, because everybody knows.
Yeah,
and everyone's then expecting an announcement of.
You know what? It's nobody's fucking business. Like, to me, like, if people say to me, like, you're having a baby, I think, actually, if we wanted to be serious for a second, that could be a really mean-spirited thing to do, because what if you are trying to have a baby and you can't, there's some kind of health reason that you can't,
that's it.
And people shouldn't be asking you because, I mean, like, maybe you're trying your best,
Yeah, people, like, assume it's, like, when you're younger, you just assume it's a given. You're like, oh, yeah. But, like, it didn't happen straight away for us. It wasn't, like, one-shot wonder over here.
How long did it take you?
It was a couple of months. It wasn't like straight away.
I'm feeling like now.
But there's so many variables. Like have they been on like contraception and all this stuff?
Is this a pregnancy podcast? I feel like this
is like the worst.
If you had sold this to me, I'd pull this sickie today. I'd be like, sorry, Gaff, I can't make it today.
They said it on my show notes. It wasn't like, oh, let's talk about Adam's bollocks for 10 minutes. It's like
it's like the universe is trying to tell me something as well, because like Lynn's like the last 2 nights, right? Like the only time we spent together, we'll watch a film like that. If there's no football on, right? And the first one we watched was this film called Clock, which is about a woman that's she doesn't want to get pregnant, so she goes through this therapy to try and make her feel like she wants to get pregnant.
Yeah,
that was weird. We don't need to go into that scene that I sent you in the chat. That guy
that's on my list.
That guy getting his knob slashed up.
Yeah, like
Anyway, we'll come back to that maybe. And then I watched one last night, which was called. It was like a Spanish. I think it was a Spanish language film. I don't know where it was made, but it's called. Oh man, it was like something : the Bone Woman or the Bone Lady, and that was about somebody that was pregnant. It was like it was a horror around, like a body horror around getting pregnant.
Oh God!
So it's like the universe trying to tell me something, you know. But it can tell me all at once. It's not happening.
the douchebag email. Yeah. So if you want any more sex advice or advice on getting pregnant, just DM Adam on Instagram.
Don't ask me, man. For either of those.
But yeah. So back onto the topic of today. I ran a marathon, mate.
Can we just like cut that whole part and then go straight into this? Yeah, I know you ran a marathon. Yeah. Do you want to tell us about it? I can tell you're itching to.
No, fuck you, mate. To be fair, a bigger task than I expected.
I'm really proud of you, man. It's very rare that I'm sincere, and it fucking hurts me to actually be sincere. But I'm really proud of you. The only thing that I was a little bit disappointed at is when you were doing your story, because you did some stories from the day, didn't you? As you
put on Instagram. Yeah.
You weren't very sweaty afterwards, so I'm thinking, could you have tried a bit harder, got a better time? If I could split hairs.
What was your time?
4 hours and 57 minutes, which sounds dog shit for if there's any like proper diehard marathon runners.
That doesn't sound dog shit to me. It sounds quite good.
But what Leeds Marathon is the first time that they've done it, and they basically ran. Leeds is quite a hilly place, so if you go from city centre to Headingley, there's a hill there. But to go from like the city centre to Otley, which is like miles away, probably about 13 miles.
You'd imagine it's roughly half a marathon. Yeah.
You go up Otley Shevin, which was like at mile 20, I think. So I think overall there were 700 metres of elevation across the whole marathon. And it got very ugly in the back half. So the first half was all right. I wanted to do like 4.5 hours. I thought like I can do that. It's not a bad pace, which I were on pace for that when I passed the halfway mark. And there was a lot of hills at the beginning of it. Then when we got to the second half, and so it was supposed to be an overcast day. It was supposed to be warm, probably about 17, 18 degrees. It was fucking 20 plus degrees at like 9 o'clock and sun cracking flags. And we got to like the back half of it, up this Otley Shevin, which is basically 3 miles of continuous hill. And it were carnage, mate. There were bodies like dropping everywhere. Cause
I saw, sorry to interject there, but I did, I told you, I was out on my daily ramble yesterday, and a woman accosted me. In a friendly way, probably accost's the wrong word. A woman came to speak to me and told me that she came across you doing the run, which is mad. She then said, "I don't really want to see Josh, but can I get a picture with you for my husband?" But she told me that like loads, like something like 40 or 50 people had to get medical assistance.
Wow, I wonder where she got that information from. I believe it though. I bet at least every mile there were a couple of bodies just laid out. Like,
but they were all right. Yeah, nobody died.
Fuck knows. I don't know. Like people might have died.
That usually when a marathon happens, there's normally like 1 or 2, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, I think between 12 and 15,000 people ran it, and a majority of them were first-time marathoners on arguably like one of the hardest marathon routes that's been put into play. But there was people drop because it was so hot, and we've all probably trained through winter. It was the polar opposite to what anyone would have expected. But that lady was called Rachel Watson. Make sure I made a note.
Yeah, she was really nice. She was telling me that you were the 5 or 10 minutes she was running with you, all you kept saying was, "Are we at that Shevin thing yet?" Like you were terrified. So she's laughing. She's like, "Oh man, he was so scared." I was thinking, he was telling us that he was doing well and whatnot. But like, I can imagine you complaining about it.
I'm not. So when I do these things, I don't really do recce's or I'm just like, I'll just figure it out on the day. Same as when I did the High Rocks competition with my mate Matty Tebb. So I didn't know what the Shevin was. I'd heard about it. It was like this mythical beast. So like we were on like probably mile 18, and she appeared. Just Rachel, she had Rachel on her back. And she's like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "Hello, you're right." And she's like, my husband's been tracking you. He said that you were sort of like catching me up. And I'm like, "Oh, cool." And she's like, "I'll listen, I saved 2 podcasts to listen to." And I'm like, "Why the fuck would you want to listen to us 2 idiots trying to run this marathon?" I'm there like just giving my head down, just trying to like continue on. It was probably the worst point she could have found me, to be fair. And
Can you imagine listening to this on a fucking marathon?
I can't imagine
I'd quit. And you'd just put some like music on, wouldn't you?
yeah, I couldn't listen to us on it.
I can imagine, Josh is talking about dicks again. Yeah, that's really getting me in the mood.
I said to her, first thing I said, I'm like, I don't understand why anybody listens to our podcast, you know. She's like, oh, it's good. I'm like, I can't believe it. Bless her. But we walk, it were a pretty steady incline. I'm like, is this the Chevron? You know, like, is this the and she like laughed at me in my face. She's like, no, it's not. And then she FaceTimed her husband, so I'm fucking like bright red, sweating, hanging out. And she's like, she's like, I found him. And I'm thinking, fucking hell, like I can't even offer any enthusiasm here, you know. I'm like, all right, mate, you know, how's it going?
I'm assuming she was significantly fitter than you then.
Yeah, but I did beat her, so like
She probably just took pity.
Somehow she like she did like disappear off into the distance. I must have passed her on the Chevron at some point, but I don't know what happened. But it was nice to meet her. And I also bumped into somebody else called Rick Trowbridge. Now, I'm pretty sure I bumped into more people that listen to the podcast, but unlike if you meet somebody in the street, they're gonna be like, Beard, I watch your videos, so you know exactly where you know them from. When I keep bumping into people that know me from the podcast, they're like, all right, Josh. And I'm going, fuck, did I go to school with this guy?
Yeah.
Where have I met him? So, do you know what I mean? So like, amount of people are like, all right, Josh. And I'm going, all right, mate. So Rick, he said to me, all right, Josh. And I'm going, all right, mate. Because I'm like, fuck, where do I know him from? You know? And then afterwards, he DM'd me on Instagram. It's like, oh, nice to be bumping to you today. I love the podcast. I'm like, fuck. So if anybody sees me in the street, can you say, Josh, I listen to the podcast, and
Just
then I'll know.
Josh, you're that clout chaser that hangs around Beard a lot. No, I'm joking.
You're on my podcast. This is mine and George's.
I'm an employee here. I'm an employee.
But
what's the pension plan like?
Horrendous.
Yeah, it's bad.
There's no pension plan. But you don't need it. You've got that dollar. But yeah, if you do see me in the public anywhere, can you just start off by saying, I listen to the podcast. You can even say shit, just so I know where I know you're from. Because I think that'll make it a bit easier.
I mean, if they say it's shit, then you know that they listen. They're not just saying they listen, right? It's fucking terrible. Are we talking about anything else other than the marathon, or is there more to discuss about the marathon?
Not really. I mean,
apart from your feet, you sent some pictures of your feet, and your feet look an absolute mess. You look like you don't have the most aesthetic feet anyway, but they're
not bad. But yeah, last night I realised that one of my toenails were falling off.
Mrs. Beard's got one of those, but it's like never been fixed. She's had it for years, so she grows like two toenails on top of each other. It's like some weird like biological glitch in her body now, whereby because I don't want to say I was picking her feet, I wasn't, but she had her feet rested on me the other day, and I think she just had like her toenails painted. I forgot the name of the thing there.
What, on all six of her toes?
Yeah, that's how you said that. I noticed that one of them was like super thick, and I'm like, she's like, oh yeah, that's my dodgy toe, which there's a nail on the bottom, which like never really comes out or like grows or anything, and then one grows over the top, and I'm like, ugh. But how do we get like that? Oh yeah, your feet.
Yeah, you were on about. I sent you a picture at group chat. I was like, Danielle, what the fuck are you doing sending pictures of your feet?
Should we overlay that or save that for the OnlyFans?
Maybe we can make some money. Subscribe to Patreon, you can see pictures of my feet. That's where we're at now.
Unsubscribing.
But one of the topics that came off the back of that was Tory Mike. You all remember him, rest in peace. He used to be on the show, and now he's just somehow still in the group chat. This was probably the straw that brought the camel's back. He's about to get ejected. He said, fucking hell, lad, don't you shave your feet? To which I was like...
He's a Scouser in Kitchen. We call him Tory Mike for fun because you don't get many Tory Scousers, do you? But yeah, sorry to... Yeah, just to set the scene, because people might not know who Mike is. He's like this character that we don't really...
But he was... I was like, who the fuck shaves the feet?
Yeah.
You know, like, and we all agreed.
I don't think we really cast judgment, did we, at first? We just kind of said, like, that's... I don't know many people that shave their feet. Like, you shave your feet, Mike? That's a bit odd. And he's like, nah, lie. I think you do a fucking poll, and you'll find out that most men shave their feet. And I'm like... Most men, there are 4 of us in this chat, 3 of us don't shave our feet.
Yeah.
No judgment, mate, but like, it sounds like you're trying to convince us that it's normal when it's almost certainly not. If you do it, fine, but like, don't try and make out like everyone does it. Don't try and normalize it.
He was like desperate for us to do like an Instagram poll, and I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure, like, as it stands, there's 75% of people in this chat that do not shave their feet.
So let us know in the comments if you shave your feet. let us know in the.
Can you
comments.
also, George, overlay the picture that Adam made on his Photoshop? So for those that are listening, he Photoshopped Tory Mike's face on what I can only imagine is like a Venus advert
I
of a
literally
lady.
googled Googled like Venus woman shaving or something like that. So hopefully Mrs. Beard doesn't look at my search history. But yeah, I photoshopped Mike's head onto it.
No, that made me like I was laughing with all like stuff like that. That's funny. But no, honestly, I don't think many. I mean, from as far as what sort of manscaping do you do?
I don't. Well, Mike in this chat. I
imagine if we were sponsored by. Imagine like that'd have been fucking perfect integration there. George, make it happen. Go on, carry on. What do you do?
Don't make it happen. Because I was saying, I was like, no judgment, Mike. Like, it's perfectly fine if you want to shave your feet. It's your body. I said, matter of fact, I don't do it now because like I'm old and I'm attached. But I used to shave my chest, and he's like, lad, that's way more fucking weird than shaving your feet. And I'm like, stop you there. George came into my defense and he said, actually, lots of gym rats do that kind of thing. I just do it because like my nipples get too hairy. Like I'm naturally hairy, obviously. My chest is hairy, but then it kind of collects like some weird circular frame around my nips. So I used to shave, shave it all, right? And I've got like a little snail trail. I don't like trim my. I don't want to get too
little landing strip.
Yeah, right. But I don't trim my pubes or anything. Like
at all, you don't like.
No. I've got a full.
Hagrid's
are we going there? Yeah,
Hagrid's nose poking out of his little mushroom,
I've got like the full 70s bush. I've got the classic retro look.
Surely you must have to shave it back a bit though. Like how fucking bushy is it?
I'm not that hairy. I'm just like this podcast all over the place, man. I don't want to hear this.
They do. It's like this is exactly why people.
Now I don't do anything. The only thing I trim's probably what George and I were talking about before we started, like my earlobes.
I thought you were going to say like your arsehole, because with shits that you have, it'll be like trying to drag peanut butter through carpet, wouldn't it?
I've got away with the words, man. Yeah, but Mrs. Beard doesn't like it when I shave my chest now. She likes it just to be airy, so I just do what I'm told.
I shave my chest, not like Venus.
Can't imagine you're that hairy, but you've got like
as I've got older.
Hairs
As I've got older, though, like now that I get like if I took my top off, you'd be like, "Oh, you're not hairy." But I do get like hairs on my shoulders because I'm getting older.
Oh yeah, I've got those. I just leave them there. I think it kind of looks like Wolverine. If you look the old kind of characterization of Wolverine, he's got hairy shoulders. If it's good enough for Wolverine, it's good enough for me.
George, what's your manscaping routine?
I reckon George has got like. I think he's completely hairless, like one of those, hairless, like one of those, those cats, those designer cats they get that are like they've got no fur on them. I think that's what George is like.
Like they've been turned inside out.
Yeah,
I don't want to go there, but yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So, what's your manscaping routine, George?
Well, Adam is right. I'm like not hairless, but not a hairy person, so I don't really have to shave my chest, to be honest.
What about your nuts and that? Like, do you keep on top of it? What's up with you? You're the one that's 70s bush, like.
Because you have an infatuation
I'll say this.
The male phallus.
I don't have a 70s bush. I keep it neat, but not too neat.
Yeah, you don't want to hairless like a fucking 6-year-old. He would if he shaved his fucking.
You're on shaky ground now, boy.
I'd look like a schoolboy.
Did you get how high did you run up this shaving? Like you get like hypoxia or something? Like brain damage?
What's wrong with that's funny? He's out already. That energy's changed. Who was it? Who said it?
Somebody said
James Blessed. Yeah, there you go.
Like,
that's where it shifted. So, are we not going to talk about? We should like this. This should be like an inclusive podcast where we can talk about manly shit like shaving your nuts.
Do you shave your nuts?
Yeah. Like
how
just trim it. I trim it. Do you know what I mean? When it gets uncomfortable, I couldn't have a bush. That'd be like it'd just be.
Messy. Because to me, it seems like it would be uncomfortable to have shorter hair. Because, like, if I say, for example, like this is not uncomfortable. If I shave this down to a shorter level, it would be itchy.
Yeah, but you can like choose your grade, can't you? And it's safer if you put like a.
I didn't think you're going down there with a straight razor, mate. I'm saying like, if like when you start
like a cutthroat pulling your ball sack into each other. You stretching it out. It'd be like trying to shave a balloon that's gone down. You'd have to stretch it out.
It feels like I'm working an actual job now, man.
Why?
Because I don't want to see.
When does this happen at a 9 to 5?
Yeah,
I'm at the level of discomfort.
That ain't that bad. Come on, we're only talking about ball sacks. You've got a ball sack. I reckon they like a comparison to a a balloon that's not been blown up is pretty accurate.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah.
Any more?
No,
I don't know. You brought us onto this.
I don't think I did. I'm waiting for that. You've got the
Is that
minute. This what's it called? But Stevie or something who edits this.
Steve?
Good luck, lad. Good luck making this punchy.
Well, what I was going to go on to is and on the marathon, like, I wanted so there were a point in it where I thought I'm going to pull an Adam Moran here. I think about 10 miles in, I was having the gel. So you have gels, you know, like to keep you on top of your energy and salt tablets. And about 10 miles in, and I was feeling super fresh. My gut just dropped. And all I could think of when you say, you know, when you're at a restaurant and you've eaten too much and then something happens.
You can feel something in your gut.
Yeah, and I never felt it before, and I was like, I'm gonna shit myself. Like that's where
we can't do 2 podcasts in a row talking about shitting our pants. Surely,
I didn't shit my pants.
You held it in. I mean, like, I think it's forgivable. Do you remember like the Paula Radcliffe thing? Because if you're in I'm not expecting somebody in a marathon to sacrifice 20 minutes on their time to like stop and poop. Can you even stop and poop?
Yeah, there are people queuing for like the porta potties. There are people queuing for. I mean,
come on, man, just do it. You know that could be a perfect advertising campaign for Nike. You know what I mean? Like you run it, just do it.
Yeah. No, you can't shit yourself.
I could work in marketing. Can I just nobody nick that idea? George, write that down. Write that down.
Yeah, then my gut, like, it just dropped, and I'm like, oh no. And then, to be fair, through one at Villages, somebody held a sign up saying, after mile 17, don't trust a fart. And I thought, at mile 10, so I'll risk it. I got away with it.
It's part. I think it's part and parcel of it. Normally, though, like when I haven't done it for anything athletic for many years, but like, isn't there some kind of nervous system thing there which tells your body that it cannot? It doesn't need to poop or wee or
pretty much, yeah. So like I forced myself, like just actually before or after I saw that Rachel, I think it was before, I forced myself to have a piss because I'm like, I'm 3 hours, like 2.5 hours into this, and I don't need a wee, and I haven't weed, and I've drank probably 2 litres of water, and I thought I got in my own head, I'm like, I better piss because you're supposed to piss, aren't you? So
yeah, people like endurance athletes get that hyponatremia, don't they? When they have salt levels are too low in the body, it can be really dangerous neurologically.
Yes, and because you said before you said you don't look too sweaty as you went over the line, and that was like the weirdest thing. So you drink all that water, you're having salt tablets and these gels, but when when I'd finished, you've got salt like crystallized on, because it was so hot. It's like surreal, and you don't need a piss or you just.
You don't need a pisser out. Yeah, but you did it though, didn't you, mate? Well done. Well done. Is there anything else to talk about? Well, go on, sorry.
Yeah.
He wants this to be over so badly.
No, I was saying, what's the next topic?
I'm going to tell you about somebody that's more impressive than me. What?
Item. Bodies everywhere.
Yeah, we've recovered that. I want to tell you about a guy that I found on the old Twitter sphere called Hardest Giza. Who's that, you ask, Adam? Fucking hell, I'm not doing my own podcast.
I didn't think what was. Yeah, okay, is it a play? Who's that, Josh?
There's a guy. He's running the entire length of the African continent.
Ooh.
So he's running from Cape Town in South Africa to Tunisia.
Cape Town, nice.
The longest way. So he's running up the west coast. I thought you'd go as the crow flies, but he's actually going up the west coast.
You mad fucker? What, straight through the Sahara?
Yeah.
There's no water.
Nah, he'll figure it out. He'll have a crew in that.
This lad.
Crow flies. He's going through the desert.
Do you realise like something like 90? Yeah, well, you're gonna if you're going through Africa, but like something like 90% of the population of like the continent is around bodies of water naturally.
Obviously,
you don't smash through the Sahara, do you? Like, I thought you'd be like good at planning. You're like a problem solver. Yeah. I hope we never get stranded somewhere. It's like, let's just go as a crow flies.
I went to London with you last week. I never want to get stuck anywhere. We're in a major city and you're like flapping like fuck. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be on another continent with you. But yeah,
anyway, back to this geezer, yeah. So
he's called Hardest Geezer.
Is it for any reason? Or
he's raising money for charity. So cool. He's raising money for 2 charities. In fact, just Google that, George, there's 2, I'm sure he's doing I'll fuck it up. Find out which one it is. But what he's doing is he's running 62 kilometers a day. So it's basically an ultra marathon, roughly an ultra marathon a day.
40,
it's like
48 miles,
38 miles, 38 and a half miles a day.
It's close. For
however many days it takes. You should probably get a bit more information on this, George, like the actual technicalities of it. But
basically, some geezer called the Hardest Geezer.
But he got the name Hardest Geezer because he ran from London, I think, right through to Asia. Which again, George, if you find out the route that he took for that.
So the charity that he did it for was the running charity and water aid, and he raised 13,300 of his £100,000 target.
What, doing the London to Asia? I can't pronounce it.
The one that he's done, I think.
Because the one that he's doing now is for them charities,
Oh, no,
and it's
sorry,
like 14,000 now, isn't it?
No, sorry, I think this one's the Africa one that he's so he's not hit his mark yet.
Right, yeah, it's called Project Africa, which is like super impressive. And you know what's more impressive? He's the most ginger person I've ever seen in my life, and he's running through the desert.
He's going to need the Factor 70 on there, isn't he? Doesn't they even make that? What's the highest Factor sun cream you can buy?
I don't know. He's going to have to look like a cricketer, you know, and it's like you got white lips and white nose. You'd have to go to town on it.
With the sun block, yeah.
Is that what it is? That must be what it is in sun.
Yeah, so the white stuff is the sun block, isn't it? Which is like, I think literally the UV rays cannot penetrate it or something.
Could have done with some of that this weekend, I think. Got a little bit red.
The route that he did from Asia to London, it says his journey began on the Asian side of Istanbul, where Asia and Europe meet on the banks of the Bosphorus. He revealed that he used Google Maps to find his way back to London. His phone ran out of battery many, many times as well. So he was just winging it blind, I think, basically. Didn't really have a route.
It's pretty cool.
Just went for it.
Mean, like,
can you find out,
cool.
is like a view like of what countries he went through to get back?
No, there's nothing like
On the Suez Canal.
No. We're not that well prepared.
On the Suez Canal, there's a bridge that goes over it that connects the two continents, you know, from like Africa to that side. So I wonder if he went over that bridge. I think it's like that took him into like Egypt or...
There is a picture here of him like running over a bridge.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
But I thought that was like super impressive. And so
yeah, man.
Trying to raise £100,000, but running through Africa. And he's going to go through 2 deserts and a rainforest. That'd be terrifying.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, to me, just the idea of running that far is terrifying.
What, just once doing a 38 miler? Imagine doing that.
Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah.
It's like impressive on several levels because of the actual distance that you've got to run total, the amount you've got to do every day, and then the fact that, you know, that's just a long way to run. That's punishing, man.
It is pretty hard to do that, though. Like, you'd think hard would be physical, wouldn't you, like an MMA fighter?
Well, he's called the hardest geezer, isn't he?
Well, yeah. It's like that. Have you seen David Goggins, the ultra runner? You not seen
I don't trust anyone that says they wake up at 4:20 in the morning. Stop buying it, mate.
You're awake at that time.
Yeah, that's because I'm tormented mentally. But like, he'll be like, "Yeah, man, you gotta wake up at 4:30, man. Go get the day." Yeah, well, fuck this. What difference does it make? You're gonna be knackered by 7 p.m. So you're gonna be in bed, aren't you? I've gone, man. I've hit that point. It was at the point you started talking about shaving nuts. That's it. That's what's done me this week.
It's funny that you brought that up. But anyway, if you want me to move on from this conversation, because you brought another conversation into. Good luck to the hardest geezer, by the way. I'd like to talk to this guy at some point.
It's too big for this podcast, mate. He'll never come on.
He's already transcended.
He could run up here. Where's he from? Where does he live?
I'll have to do a quick.
He sounds like a son.
George's like, fuck it, I'll have to fucking Google that now.
Yeah, find out what his actual name is. I mean, it's like Ross or Russ.
I feel like
it's Russ.
If you said that, it's a bit far away from me, I'd be like, fuck it, come off it, lad. You just run like 60,000 miles or something.
Yeah, he'll be on bigger podcasts than us, though, when he comes back.
There are bigger podcasts than this. I don't believe it. Come on.
Another thing that you put into the chat this week, Adam, was a Twitter thread from someone wearing a butt plug into an MRI.
Yeah, which I know people are going to be like, well, Adam, why are you criticising Josh for talking about foreskin and, shaving his nuts? But because one of my friends sent me this, and it was somebody who's actually, I thought it was funny because it's a person suing the makers of the butt plugs count as sex toys. I guess is that the remit? So. Yeah, George is like, yeah. Got several at home. Yeah, I've got quite a collection. But and they marketed this butt plug as it was like that's gonna like confuse people because it's played a video. They market it as a 100% rubber butt plug, right? Yeah. So you buy it, and for some reason they'd left it up there just for safekeeping, I guess. And they went to an MRI scan. Turned out it actually wasn't 100% rubber. The internal part of it was metal. Naturally, you can't take metal into an MRI scanner because bad things happen, and it ended up like flying out of their body, like taking out a bunch of organs. They survived; they didn't die, but they're now, of course, suing the makers of the thing because it just flew out of them. You know,
did it come out? It came out.
Came out the body, yeah. Naturally, you're a big fucking magnet, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
yeah, man. So yeah, but I mean, really, I'm not sure the fault. If I owned the company that had manufactured that, yeah, they've done something wrong by saying it's rubber when it's not. But ultimately, I think I'd be thinking, why is this person just kept? I mean, it looked like a big one to me, man. It wasn't like you're not playing around. This is like some expert level butt pluggery. You know what I mean? It was fucking huge. Yeah, man. And it was just stored up there like halfway up the colon or something. And then, it came out quite violently. Luckily, the person survived though. So thankful for small mercies.
Can you imagine the small print on the inside? I imagine you'd get like a little pamphlet, like if you were getting like some medical stuff, a bit like paracetamol. It comes like a pamphlet of what could go wrong. I can't imagine in the small print of the butt plug it's like, do not wear in an MRI scanner. Like I don't think they'll have the foresight for that.
Imagine like what the medical staff were thinking who were actually doing the scan. Like, what the fuck is that? There's just a butt plug in here.
Just blood.
Oh no. Oh no.
They'll think, shit, what have I done?
Yeah.
See, that's a lot worse than just leaving a nipple ring in, isn't it?
It sounds like a fesshole, that.
It does, doesn't it?
Look at Adam bringing his fesshole in.
Another thing that you put into the chat was...
I don't remember doing this. So I don't know if I put these in the chat to be shared.
The YouTuber who made a video of himself intentionally crashing an aeroplane for clicks now faces 20 years in prison. And it's a video of a fella jumping out of a plane, which I can assume is like over some sort of deserted area. And then he's just letting it crash to the ground. Where's he going to land though?
He had a parachute on, obviously.
No, yeah, but he's still going to be in no man's land, isn't he?
Yeah, he had planned it though. I think that was the thing. Is he makes out, I think, in the video that it was not. It was like the plane did actually malfunction, whereas in actual fact he intentionally stalled it. He planned to do it all along. I put that in because we had talked about before on the podcast. That I think maybe a couple of weeks ago, people going like too far. Right? Too far for clicks. And I thought that was like the apex of that idea, like crashing a plane on purpose, but pretending like it was like a real mechanical malfunction.
He's made it into Forbes though. So the video has currently got 2.9 million views. Not too shabby.
Is that it? No, put this in perspective though. I'm not trying to be a douchebag. Obviously that's an impressive amount of people to watch. Consider that for 2.9 million views, this guy did not go and eat like a £5 burger with a habanero on top or something.
Yeah.
Right? He literally crashed a fucking plane and risked death. So how many things could go wrong there? As you're exiting the plane, parachute doesn't work. You risk 20 years in jail for 3 million views.
There's a quote here. It says, in the weeks that followed the plane crash, Jacob lied to investigators that he did not know the wreckage location, according to a plea agreement. In fact, on the certain date, Jacob and his friend flew over the helicopter wreckage. They must have had to go get the fucking SD cards back. Sorry, you're on that. I honestly haven't got a clue where it is. It's like all over YouTube. Fucking idiot.
How did you get the footage from the GoPro then? Yeah.
Should I see if there's any more good information in this?
That was the extent of it, I think.
Yeah.
And now you're going to jail, mate. It could have gone anyway, couldn't it? Even if it is a deserted area, how do you know? You can't be crashing planes on purpose, man. Although I suppose you could, they probably do that shit on Top Gear all the time, don't they? But with cars.
Yeah, but they might get like a sign off for that,
You would hope so.
You also sent in a video. You just spend all your time on Twitter. These are all Twitter links.
No, you'll keep every week you give me grief for not contributing to this thing, right?
So this is a car crash. What did we witness? What did we witness? Where somebody's cutting up a lorry to try and get on the motorway, flips it and crashes into a barrier, which is the roundabout.
That's why I send it.
30 yards from the studio.
I remember. I look because that's the way I drive to get here.
Yeah.
Every morning when I come when I've got to come to work, and I'm thinking, oh fuck, it's going to the festival or some more dick talk. And at that roundabout, I thought like that looks familiar. And I know they all kind of do, especially when they're at motorway junctions. But it turns out it's the one at I don't know what you call it. What's that area?
It's like Tingley Roundabout. It's the
Yeah. What was he thinking? That was never going to work.
I reckon. So if you look on the video, the two vans are the same. So I reckon it's a convoy of like lads, like Sparkies, and it's like, do you know what I mean? Like they were. If you look at the.
Yeah, but excuse the fact that he tried to manoeuvre past the...
Yeah, but maybe he's like just chancing it with his mate, saying, I'll beat you there or whatever. So one mate's filming it, he's passing his other mate like, I've got you, dickhead. And then he crashes into a lorry.
He somehow misses the massive articulated truck.
Yeah. That's why I think that's my expert.
We saw a crash this morning on Roundabout as well. That was terrible.
George's car's proper shit.
Yeah, it wasn't me that crashed.
So I've seen that before.
You know, down by that, just before Ellen Road, the roundabouts, if you come from sort of White Rose, there's a roundabout, you go to the next roundabout, and then there's Ellen Road. That one there's a brand new Mercedes electric car, cop cars everywhere. And it's like, drove into the round. Like, it's not like it's trying to go around, it's like drove directly into the roundabout. Like it's going to do a GTA stunt, you know, like trying to pop the roundabout. And he's like, I'll film it, you know, to say, you can't park there, mate.
You're the guy that ends up like, you're the one that keeps everyone in traffic because you want to look at the accident.
Oh, pure rubbernecking, wasn't it?
Nah, I reckon he was probably just on his phone or something and just didn't realise he was at a roundabout.
There's a
Went
roundabout.
straight over it.
They were a bad one with that.
See that all the time, don't you?
But yeah, George Boy's car's on its way out. We reckon, we suspect that it's not going to survive. It's like, engine lights, come on. I'm like, I'm surprised it's not
Can't
on.
we give him a company car, Josh? Come on. No, we don't get those perks, no?
We don't get those perks.
We're going to enjoy this. I mean, George has earned it. He's been here longer than me.
He didn't deserve a nice car. Like, we should put a fucking whippy in after we sat in his car and he crashed into another car.
Do you
I'll get myself a go-kart.
Do you want to borrow my Figaro, George?
No. I'm all right.
That were a nice offer, that.
I know, I appreciate the offer, but...
It wasn't a real offer. I mean, obviously I wouldn't give you that.
If George were like down on his luck and his car's broke.
I've seen the way he drives, you clown. Those are collector's items.
Do you regret buying it? Because you said the other day you sort of regret buying it.
No, I don't really regret buying it. I like it's just like the practicality of driving it is a little bit... you've got to be in the right mind space to want to drive it.
Which I suspect you are very rarely in that mind space.
Yeah, all right. Only for that. You meanie.
Right, let's jump on to the Patreon section, Georgie boy. Right, so we've just done his little Patreon section. Adam's calmed down a little bit. Good fun. A little bit of overrated and underrated. When we started talking about Fast and Furious, though, Adam lost his shit. But we've got to close the show with none other than some Fessholes. Roll the jingle, George.
It's time for a
Fesshole.
coming from you.
This Fesshole's kind of like it's like true for lie. That's what it is. That's what we should call it. Because you call bullshit on 99%.
You'd like
Yeah, but
almost
there's
all of them.
I can't go, and it was true.
No, but you know, I think you win.
What we can do though is congratulate Fesshole for becoming verified this week.
To get a blue tick.
We've got a blue tick
On Twitter?
On Twitter,
You
yeah.
just fucking pay for it.
€8, $8, whatever it is. Well done on the verification.
Have you noticed like all the celebrities and stuff that don't have them now?
Yeah, it's like a full.
They're dying on the hill. They're like, I'm not paying for it, you motherfuckers. But like, yeah, they're not. You could be anyone.
It's a really weird thing, this, because obviously you've got verified on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then you've had to buy it on Twitter. But now they're selling Meta verified on Instagram, so that's really catching me out. Because like in America, you can buy the blue tick now. So like a bunch of people that I followed on Instagram have now got blue ticks.
It makes no sense. Actually, a couple of people this morning, 3 or 4 very kind people, told me that somebody impersonated me on Instagram, and it's like a definite attempt to impersonate because it's basically just rips all my. I don't post much on Instagram, do I? Really, maybe once a week when a video goes up, and the grid is the same. And I was like, yeah, this is me, but it's like the username is Beard Meets Foods. So like,
That's
what if they paid for it? You know, like,
yeah, and that's the problem. But I think to get it. Or to get around it, because that's what I remember the first thing on Twitter. You just pressed yes.
Yeah,
there were all the like Tony Blair parody accounts, stuff like that. Obviously, you've got to now give identification to get a tick, so there will be an association.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's what I think Twitter Instagram verified is going to be. We'll find out.
I'm not fucking paying for that, man. Come on.
Well,
I'm like a real tight ass now, man. I'm not fucking paying for that.
like a true Yorkshireman. Give us the Fessholes, Georgie boy.
Okay. My wife's work nemesis has an Instagram of her gym selfies. She absolutely hates her and always shows me when she puts up a new post, posing in her gym gear with her fake tits. If we've had a big argument, I like to head to that Instagram and furiously want myself off to it.
You sent that in chat, didn't you? That's why I started laughing halfway. I mean, I could believe that, but whoever that is, you need to go see a psychiatrist, right? You need help. Like, if you're mad about it, man, like, what you... I don't know, man. That's strange baby to me, but it's funny. So it does the job.
The line furiously wank myself onto it. I feel like these are going to get, like, you know when they say if you're going to get cancelled one day, you've already said what's going to get you cancelled. Yeah. I feel like this is a prime example of reading these out.
It's almost like I've been trying to stop you from doing this for the past 30 weeks for a reason, yeah.
But you're in for a penny and for a pound now, aren't you? So we might as well carry on.
Right, I've got one more. My mum and dad divorced, and he started seeing someone younger about 2 years later. He finally introduced her, only for me to realise I'd met her before. He popped the question recently, and now I'm going to have to watch him marry a woman I shagged up the arse on a Tinder date. Oh. That has to be fake.
That's not real. I don't buy it. Not buying, sucker.
Surely you'd mention it. You'd
have to
you'd
say
mention it to your
something.
dad, wouldn't you? You'd be like,
Maybe
listen,
not in that gruesome detail. But
listen, Dad, we've met before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you saying, Adam?
Yeah, I don't believe it. I think it's
Calling BS.
it's a blatant falsehood, I think, yes.
Well,
You're wearing a nice t-shirt today, Josh.
oh, thanks, mate. It's
And let's just say that from memory.
what colour would you describe this?
Is it
bright pink?
I would call it a hot pink because I actually I used to have football boots that are almost exactly that same colour. But I like that kind of colour. It looks, I don't know what it is. Maybe it reminds me of like, I don't know what it reminds me of.
It's a bold colour. When I walked downstairs this morning and Tilly were like, "Ooh, Daddy, you look very handsome." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
She's going to the opticians in a few days. Don't worry.
It's not exactly. I wouldn't describe it as a handsome top, but yeah, it's all right. Nice.
I think your daughter's gonna be one of those mad like super geniuses. You know, how old is she?
2, like her vocabulary.
She's like
mental,
too. She's too smart for a 2-year-old. She's gonna be like something. Either you're gonna be a super genius or a super evil person, super villain.
super villain. Well, luckily, I think she gets her brains from the missus and not from me.
No, yes, I did assume that. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I'd just beat you to the punch on that one. Have you got any more talking points for this week? Any exciting things happening in the world of beard? Buying any like Lamborghinis or you know, you're doing all right?
We tried to buy a house the other day actually. Yeah, but I think regrettably somebody else made an offer on it, which I think is lower. But they must be rich because they're like cash buyers, so you can't really compete with that, can you?
Which house? That one that you said?
No, I've not showed it to you.
Okay.
I don't want you to know where I live.
We can't describe.
I'm trying to get away from
You're
you.
a fucking liar. We can't describe the locations, can we, on the pod?
No, that would defeat kind of the point of moving.
How's the? What have you found any more?
No. I just go around like trying to buy like 6 different houses at the same time. Put my energy into that one, but you know, if it doesn't work out, no big deal. No, nothing else. I'm going away again in June.
You booked it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! We better start plotting then, boys. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, that's
17th of May.
I don't have anything exciting. Just wait for you boys to turn around that video we shot in London last week.
How long are you going away for in June?
2.5, close to 3 weeks actually. 17 days.
I might have to fly out and shoot
Fucking
a podcast, mate.
Nathan's after party, bruh. That's the reason I'm going.
Are you going to do Nathan's?
I don't know. If I do, I'll get absolutely marmalised. But I might just do it for fun. Do some kind of fun.
Remember last year when he
intro.
came back and he's like, I should have trained. I should have tried. I did better than I expected. And now we're this year. Maybe, Adam, just a bit of a suggestion, pal.
Can't, man. I don't care.
No, because you
anymore.
no, you did care though.
I didn't really.
You did. No, you came back and you were like, oh, yeah, I could have done better. I'm a bit disappointed.
Yeah, but you know, it's easy to complain about coulda, shoulda, wouldas than actually putting the work in before you go.
Well, don't come back here
I won't.
moaning about it. You fucking will. All right, that's us then, George. We need to get you back over to Quick Fit and see if your car's dead, and we'll update everybody next week on the podcast. You might be driving a Figaro. Catch you on the next one.
Or not driving anything.
Peace.